Hey guys, welcome to my series where I play every single Wii U game that had any kind of physical retail release here in North America. If you want more details on the series, check out the preview video I made in the description. Game number 3, Super Mario 3D World, which was released on November 22nd, 2013, developed and published by Nintendo. So kinda surprised that I actually got a Mario game this early. Didn't think this would happen. I thought I would get Sonic Boom first, but thankfully I didn't. So Mario 3D World is the sequel to 3D Land that was on the 3DS. I actually played this game quite a bit when I was younger, but I haven't touched this game since 2015. I wonder if it still holds up as well as I remember. There's only one way to find out. So the plot is very simple. It is a Mario game after all. Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad are just walking along a path until they come across this clear pipe. Mario and Luigi use their super professional plumbing skills to fix it. The pipe then spits out a bunch of junk, which ends with this little fairy creature called a Sprixie. The Sprixie tells the gang that Bowser kidnapped all the Sprixies in her homeland and stuffed them inside of jars. But before Mario agrees to help, Bowser crawls through the pipe and snatches her up. The gang then follow Bowser down the pipe into the Sprixie Kingdom. Now you gotta save them all. When you play a Mario game, you're usually never in it for the plot. The gameplay is where it's at. I'm not gonna go over every single level in this game in detail, I'll just point out some things of interest during certain sections I thought were neat. So starting off with World 1-1, the level to get you acquainted with the controls and a few new features, it's very similar to 3D Land's first level. The controls, as you would expect, are very good. You can jump, run, long jump, crouch jump, roll into a wall, and even perform a spin jump, which I did not know until much later in the game, so I didn't really use it. No triple jump though. The major new feature of this game is the new power-up, the bell, which will turn Mario into a cat. The cat power-up is actually very good. You can perform a swipe with the run button, you can dive while jumping, which gives you extra distance, as well as killing enemies, and the most useful is climbing up walls to reach secrets or other goodies. This is also the first level to introduce the Mega Mushroom, which was in New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. You grow big and destroy everything in your path. It's not found super often, but it is enjoyable when you do get it. World 1-2, the first level I actually got to play as Luigi. You can play as the main 4 characters at any time. I chose the random option for each level just to make it more interesting. Luigi jumps a bit higher than Mario, but his movement is a bit more slippery by comparison. This is the first level to introduce back the Fire Flower, as well as these random event blocks. These give you a 10-second time limit to complete whatever task, like kill all the enemies or activate all the switches, resulting in a green star. There are typically 3 green stars in each stage. They're used for unlocking future levels. You do need a good amount to reach the final stage, so be diligent on your search. The other collectible are stamps, which were mainly used for Miiverse, but yeah, we all know what happened to Miiverse. You know, the results screen looks so empty without the Miiverse messages scrolling by. Sure, most messages were just a Sprixie or a Toad shooting out a fart cloud, but you know, it was funny to see like 100 times. I really miss Miiverse, dude. Next up is a mini-boss with Chargin' Chuck. I think this is the first time Chuck returned as an enemy since Super Mario World. He's not too tough, but it is nice to see him again. World 1-3 is another solid level. This level introduces the Cloud Cannon. It launches you into this agility course where you need to run to the end, collecting a green star along the way. If you fall, you need to restart the level to try again. World 1-4, this level introduces Plessie. Plessie levels involve riding her down a slide to avoid obstacles and collect stars. They're pretty fun levels and they can be a pain in multiplayer. Plessie doesn't have fantastic steering, but it's nothing I can't manage. With 3 other people though, it's probably going to be tough to manage that. World 1-5, first level I got to play as Toad. He's the fastest character, but his jump is a lot heavier in comparison. You know, I never understood why Toad was considered the fastest. Dude doesn't even have legs. This level is also very good. It's circus themed, which I believe is new for this series. This level also introduces question switches. Run on all of them and turn them green. This was in Super Mario Galaxy if you remember. Next level is a Captain Toad stage. Yeah, this was the first instance of Captain Toad being playable. His stages are all very good. You need to traverse the squarish area to find all 5 green stars. You can rotate the stage with the stick or by tilting the gamepad. Captain Toad can only run, so you can't really defend yourself here. I can see why Nintendo made a whole game based on these levels. They're really good. The Captain Toad playthrough will come soon enough, don't you worry about that. Just need to buy the game first. Next up, the Bowser stage is where I first played as Peach. She's not my favorite character to play, only because she's so freaking slow. Her jump and float abilities are nice, but I can't get over the slow running speed. It's more detrimental than I would like to have, so I don't play her as much as the others. The first Bowser stage is alright, nothing too crazy. It ends with a Bowser fight where he drives a car, chucking bombs at you. Knock 3 of them back at his face to win. It's a very easy fight. With Bowser defeated, we freed the first Sprixie. World 2-1 is another good level, and introduces these bird thingies. I like them. Yeah, this is probably going to be the point where I'm going to be skipping over some levels if I only have like one thing to say about it. But after beating this level though, it does tell you about the Miiverse. It's still sad to see it gone. World 2-2 is the first level to incorporate the gamepad. You can click on certain platforms to get them to rise. You can also tap enemies to stun them or blocks to grab whatever's inside. You can also blow into the mic to get certain platforms to move. I actually just yelled random gibberish to get them to move. It was way more entertaining. You can even yell at these midget Goombas and they'll fly back off the cliff. It's actually pretty funny. World 2-3 plays with these shadows, giving off a really cool effect. I like the part near the end with Captain Toad being scared by the giant shadow of Bowser, but it's just a big cardboard cutout in the foreground. I saved you, Toad, now give me some green. This level also reintroduced the fuzzies, these annoying things you can't kill. They're not too common, but I hate fuzzies so much. World 2-5. This level introduces the Double Cherry power-up. Running into it multiplies your character, giving you another hit point, essentially. I don't think this power-up is great, it's not bad, but they didn't fully utilize it. The most I can think of is getting 2 of yourself onto 2 different switches or hitting rising blocks while one character stands above. The most use I got from it was gaining a green star from the numbered platforms you need a certain amount of clones to activate. The Double Cherry does increase the amount of projectiles you can throw, if you do have one, so with the Fire Flower or the Boomerang. The next Bowser stage, the first auto-scrolling level. Another decent level. This level introduces the cannon block. You jump into it and you become a mole cannon. It's pretty useful, but you don't come across it too often. The boss of this stage is Boom Boom. He sucks. World 3-1, the first snow level, and probably one of the coolest looking levels. No, pun intended. Pun was definitely intended there. This level introduces a bunch of new things. First, the propeller crate, which acts just like the propeller shroom from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. You have the Tanuki leaf from 3D Land, and they even brought back the Goomba shoe from Mario 3. Well, I guess it's a Goomba skate, technically. It's pretty neat, but you won't see it very often. The World 3-2, the one of like 2 levels in this game I actually don't like. Another auto-scrolling stage where you need to jump over moving fences or you die. Never got the hang of this stage for some reason. Even as a kid, I died a lot here. Speaking of dying a lot, if you die 5 or more times in a level, a block will spawn giving you a gold leaf. This will turn you into the White Tanuki, where you become immune to damage for the rest of the stage. I didn't get it this playthrough because I'm just such a god of a gamer, but for this stage specifically it didn't help considering the edge of the screen and pits still kill you in one hit. Thanks. World 3-3 is the first mansion stage, introducing us to the Boos and giving us some cool level design with shifting bookcases and fake platforms. After this stage is another Captain Toad level. Again, another solid level. These Captain Toad stages just improve from now on. World 3-6 is a level based around Super Mario Kart. Using dash and jump pads to get green stars is pretty fun and is one of the more unique levels in the game. Every level is pretty unique if I think about it, but this one more so because of the theme. World 3-7 reintroduces the switchboards from 3D Land. I was never a huge fan of these things, but luckily they don't appear that often in this game. You rock back and forth on these platforms to progress. Just try not to fall off and die because the track will sometimes not have a little block to stop you from falling. Time for the third Bowser stage, another auto-scroller, but this time you're riding on a train. The Mega Mushroom is back, and I also believe this is the first level to reintroduce the Bonsai Bill. So that's neat. The boss of this stage is Pom Pom, who also sucks, just like Boom Boom. But she's not the real boss of this world. Nah, instead, after the Bowser stage, there's a small interlude stage between the third and fourth world where you fight the Histocrat, a much cooler boss compared to the last 2 clowns. Albeit he's not a very hard fight, you just climb his hench snakes to stomp on his head. It's very creative though, I'll give it that. World 4-3, the first level to introduce the beep blocks. The blocks will disappear and reappear at different intervals. It kind of goes along with the music, but just sounds a little off. You can also use the double cherry here, and it can be kind of tricky to keep them alive to get the green star near the end. This next level is one of those timed purple house things. It was actually pretty fun, but too bad I got stuck playing as Peach. Peach. The Bowser stage of this world is, it's alright. Most of it's dealing with these rock guys. Their main use in this level is to throw them onto switches so you can gather green stars and the stamp. The boss is an even bigger rock guy. You take the smaller rock guys and throw it at his dumb rock face. Another easy yet fun boss. World 5-1, the first level to have key coins. You collect 5 of these things throughout a stage to unlock the portal block to the next area. This level also introduces the Goomba disguise. You find it by breaking open a sand Goomba statue. It's not super useful because it only prevents Goombas from attacking you, which are the least threatening enemy in the game. The second half of the stage is a Plessy section. It's a pretty cool level overall. World 5-2 is the first stage to implement the trapeze. It's basically just a rope swing. It's nothing too groundbreaking, but I did like this one part of the stage where you grab the Mega Mushroom and completely destroy a bunch of piranha plants. World 5-4 I wanted to point out because it has this huge open field during the middle of the stage. No other stage has something like this, so I wanted to draw attention to it. It's pretty neat. World 5-5 introduces the bombs. Lots of blowing stuff up in this level. There's also this 8-bit Mario in the sky you light up to get a green star. Well, that's nice. You know, looking back at the recording, I accidentally skipped over 5-6, so moving on to 5-7, the stealth level, kinda. You just need to avoid the spotlight or else you get bombarded with a bunch of bullet bills. You are going to have to activate them at certain points to break open blocks to get stuff, however. I really didn't care too much about the Bowser stage this time around, but the fight with King Kathunk was pretty cool. He's a mixture of those spiked square things from earlier and a womp. He'll move faster and break the ground underneath when he takes more damage. It's a pretty neat fight. Certainly better than Boom Boom. World 6-1 does something a little unique with the clear pipes. You can actually shoot fire flower shots through the pipes and it will travel through them. You can't really guide them, but it is useful for breaking those spiked balls in the tubes. World 6-2 is a spooky ghost ship. I just like the way this level looks. It's very appropriate. I got Luigi for this level. World 6-3 is also a very aesthetically pleasing level. It's one of those Japanese dojos where you need to tap the gamepad to slide open the doors. The one thing I wanted to point out here is how dark this level can be. Remember the Goomba disguise from earlier? Well, I killed a Goomba with a boomerang and was able to wear his decapitated head. Yeah, Mario's a lot darker than I thought. There's a mini-boss here with the Prince Bully. You need to lead him to these clear pipes so he'll get sucked in where you can then kick him across the room. It's a cool fight and miles better than Boom Boom and Pom Pom combined. World 6-7 is another auto-scroller. This time we're going vertical to escape the oncoming fuzzies. Another cool level and the first level to introduce us to the Dry Bones. It took a while for these guys to show up, didn't they? There's another one of those challenge portal blocks where you need to use the power of baseball to get the stars. It's pretty cool, but I did have to attempt it a few times to get all of them. The Bowser level of this world is another train level. It's very similar to the other one, except there are bombs. It ends with the fight with Boom Boom. He still sucks, but much like the Pom Pom fight from World 3, that's not the real boss. Now the real boss is this Jester Koopa that turns into a giant ink Jester Koopa. He'll bounce around until he eventually breaks apart, where you have to jump on the Jester before he gathers his ink balls. I find it funny that these world interlude bosses only appear after Pom Pom and Boom Boom. Even the developers were like, yeah, those guys suck. You know, World 7 seems like the end point with the scary fire and the large castle. I'm ready for this. I beat all other 6 worlds. Let's do this. World 7-2 has an overhead perspective in the dark. You need to use the fire flower to light a path through the level. It's a pretty cool idea for a level. Too bad it was only used once during the main story. World 7-3 is a speedrun-ish kind of level, using the dash pads to reach the end and collecting all the stars without running out of time. I think this was the only time I didn't mind playing Peach here because the hover helped a lot. World 7-5, a tower level, which reminds me of those levels from Super Mario Galaxy. There's a point in this level where you gather all 5 of the key coins and then the tower starts to fill up with poison gas. It was a lot harder than it actually was, only because I was playing Peach, who runs like a snail. Man, every time I get the random option, it's always like a speedrun level. I always get Peach. I don't know how that happens. World 7-6 is an underwater level introducing us to these spiked hammerhead fish thingies and bringing back the bloopers. I like bloopers. World 7-7 deals with rising lava that will insta-kill you if you touch it and reintroduces us to those lava hippo things. I don't remember what they're called. I think they're from Super Mario Galaxy. I actually don't remember. But here we are, the final Bowser stage. The stage itself is fine, a bunch of hammer bros, which are always fun to deal with. Sarcasm. The fight with Bowser this time is similar to the first one, except it's much tougher. There's a lot more stuff to avoid here, like spikes, fireballs, rising lava, bombs. It's still a Mario boss, so don't expect anything too tough. Bowser this time takes 9 bomb hits before he's defeated. With his car destroyed, he falls into the lava, and with that, all of the Sprixies are saved. But surprise! Bowser somehow didn't burn to death and steals all the Sprixies away. No. I gotta say though, World 8 has one of the coolest openings to an area I've ever seen in one of these games. World 8-1 is jumping across a bunch of spiked bridges and platforms. It can be annoying because of the timing of the spikes can get a little weird, and the dry bones don't really help out in the situation. World 8-3 is another side-scrolling train level, ending with the final encounter with Pom Pom. And if you can guess, she still isn't a very good boss. World 8-4 has a cool mechanic where most of the ground is invisible and will only reveal itself when you walk on it. Slamming the ground or destroying the bullet bills will reveal more of it. Very fun stage. World 8-6 is another haunted house, but this time you can actually kill the boos with a light. I kind of feel bad though, they sound really sad when they die. World 8-7 is a very tricky level. You need to ride this face block through the lava by walking against where it's going. I made the mistake of jumping with the block. Not recommended because it doesn't give momentum, so you'll end up dying a lot. Before the final stage, there's a rematch between the Jester Koopa and the Histocrat. They're a bit tougher, but nothing too crazy. Although the Jester does have a shockwave, which can be annoying, especially if you're trying to keep the double cherry power up. But here we are, the final Bowser fight. For this fight, he turns himself into a furry. Gross. This isn't much of a fight, rather it's scaling the tower to avoid the oncoming onslaught from Bowser. It can be very tough to avoid him in the latter half, where the cloned Bowsers all come at you at once. One final hit to Bowser on the PAL block, and he is defeated for good this time. All of the Sprixies are saved and peace is once again restored. Credits. And that is the end of the main single-player story of Super Mario 3D World. I will say that you do unlock a few things after you beat Bowser. First is the original Mario Bros. Game starring Luigi, which I couldn't play for some reason. I don't know if you need the original Mario Bros. From the Virtual Console to try it out, which I don't own and can no longer buy. And you also get access to the Star Road, which is the 9th world. For the sake of the series and my hard drive, I will not be covering it, but I wanted to bring attention to it because it's a cool reward. So that concludes my playthrough of Super Mario 3D World. I didn't think much of it at first, but I'm really glad I came back to this game. It was a lot of fun. Let's dive into the ranking. Gameplay, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5. Gameplay is very solid, the controls are good, and all the levels, with some exceptions, are all fun to play, and no two levels are similar to one another. The new catsuit is a great ability, and the double cherries is also pretty neat. However, a part of me feels like this game is just 3D land, but in HD. Parts of this game do feel very similar to that one. Presentation gets a 4.5 out of 5. It's a beautiful looking game, and the level design really reflects that. The circus levels are some of the coolest looking levels in the game. I'm going to deduct points from this because it does follow that Mario theming. You know, the first world being grass theme, then desert theme, ice theme, etc. The fun factor gets a 5 out of 5. I'm actually surprised it got this high of a score. I had a ton of fun playing through this game again. If only I had friends to play it with. If only. Replayability gets a 4 out of 5. Definitely worth replaying. The post-game content is nice with the Star Road, but the problem I have lies in the 100% completion. I didn't mention it, but getting 100% requires getting every single green star and stamp, as well as completing each stage with every single character, including Rosalina, who you unlock later. If you're by yourself, each level needs to be beaten 5 times, and you do need to hit the top of the flagpole 5 times. It's a bit overkill, don't you think? I remember 3D Land having the same problem too. I don't think these games need to be that long. So if you play it with a friend though, that number does get reduced, because if they play a different character, it counts towards the completion. Tallying up the points gives Super Mario 3D World a flat 4.5 out of 5, a very good score. If you were to play this game nowadays, you're probably better off playing the Switch re-release. I don't own it per se, but it does add much more content in comparison to this game. So this concludes game number 3. It's time to spin that wonderful wheel again, and hopefully not get Sonic Boom. Okay, the next wheel spin to determine game number 4. I wonder what it's going to be. Hopefully it's a little bit shorter. I kind of want a shorter game, but I guess we'll see. Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. You know, I almost got Pac-Man this time too. I almost got Pac-Man last time, but Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. Probably going to be the first game on this series that I'm not going to like. I'll see you then.